Hi, CK, and welcome back today.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So today we have a very interesting topic. The topic is your busyness impacting your business?
Wow, that's a nice one.
Right now, I think both of us have spoken about this quite often. Having worked with so many of the SMEs, this is a common situation that we realize. Common statements like, I am so overstressed, I'm so busy all the time, but I don't see any progress happening. I'm working 16 hours, 20 hours a day. I work weekends, I don't have time for my family, my health is taking a toll. After all of those things, being so busy all the time, the business does not seem to be moving ahead at all.
Absolutely.
Right? So a common situation with business owners is especially the leadership of an organization, where they're so busy working in their business that they forget to work on their business.
That's
right? And what do we mean by that? When they're working in the business, we are talking about so being busy, predominantly executing your day-to-day operations, maybe a little bit of planning for the execution, but that's all it is. They're always on a firefighting mindset all the time. You're on your toes, firing, putting down different fires across all aspects of your business. Whereas what you should be doing is to start looking at the bigger picture and recall your vision, recall your mission, see if you are making any kind of impact, any kind of progress to achieve those visions and missions and your goals. Look at the strategies that you have planned out, put into place for your organization. Start reviewing those strategies. It could be your people strategy, it could be your sales strategy, it could be your product strategy, it could be your pricing strategy. There is so much that builds up your business. And if you're so busy with your day-to-day work, you kind of miss out on evaluating if these strategies have actually been put into work. They're actually being achieved. And it's not a one-time job, right? It's not like, okay, I've created a strategy and that's about it. I revisit it next year. It's not that. So these are the various common situations that we have seen, and I thought it would be a good idea for us to do a little bit more deep dive now that we know what are the different symptoms of being busy all the time and not being working on the business, right? So CK, what are your opinions about this?
No, first of all, I think the title is so apt, because we've been seeing this every time we are interacting with entrepreneurs, right? I sometimes joke with them that, are you the CEO or are you the CFO? And CFO is chief firefighting officer. Right? Whole time you're putting out this fire, just put out one fire, the next fire starts. Put out that fire, some other fire restarts again, right? Either you're struggling with collections, or you're struggling with business, or you're struggling with production, or you're struggling with getting customers, or you're struggling with cash flow. So I think as a founder or a co-founder, you're always in that crisis mode, unless, of course, you're in a booming market, which often doesn't happen in many cases. And we're not preparing ourselves and our teams, right, to be able to get to the next level.
Correct.
So I think one of the primary reasons I see for this firefighting mode and busyness is because besides the two founders, I think the next level of leadership or the management team, right, which are the departmental heads or people heading the different functions, are often not the best choice for those organizations. Either they compromise because that's a kind of salary one can pay. So the people who are hired often are not able to run the departments on their own. So they tend to come back to the leaders for every small decision, right? They want approval for this, they want approval for that, they want to go ahead for this, they want the strategy to be given to them, they want to be told how it has to be done. And
when it has to be done.
When it has to be done.
Yes.
And what happens is, because the founders sometimes don't have the necessary confidence in those people that they can deliver, even after delegating a responsibility, you tend to micromanage. Has it happened? It was supposed to happen today. Why it's not happened today? Why only so much has happened today? So that micromanagement also leads to a lot of stress for both sides, both the person asking and the person receiving. And it also takes up a lot of the leader's time. Right? So I think a lot of the busyness is, I would say, self-created. So that whole leadership, building that management team in such a way that you get them to a level where you can start delegating work to them. I think that whole people development part, I think, which you need to cover separately.
Absolutely.
So this is one important, I think, reason why a lot of entrepreneurs are busy. The second one, I think, is the fact that there are no structured review processes. Right? It's all ad hoc. Right? Somebody comes to your room with a proposal. Somebody comes to you in the middle of a meeting with some paper to be signed. Somebody comes unprepared for a meeting, and then takes up a lot of the leader's time on saying, no, this is not what we're looking for. This is what I told you last time. Why have you come with this? Go back and rework. So much of rework keeps happening. And every time there's a rework, it is taking up the time of both the employees, the person doing the work and the person reviewing it.
Got that.
So these small things, all start contributing to a couple of extra hours every day being wasted, not being productively used, and leads to a lot of stress. So I think, it's busyness also leads to stress. And it's like you said in the beginning, it's not necessarily leading to better business.
Correct.
Being in office till 9 o'clock, being in office till 9 o'clock doesn't guarantee your growth is going to happen. Right? It's about how you manage your business.
Absolutely. In fact, one more symptom that I have noticed is many a times the CEO or the CXO team becomes the bottleneck, because the entire team keeps running to them to make decisions, to get guidelines. And so many a times, even simple proposal sending, pricing discussions get postponed for 2, 3, 4 days because of the non-availability of the CXOs. Because they are busy firefighting so many other things at the same time. They're juggling too many hats, too many balls at the same time. So things which cannot wait, like a proposal that has to be sent to a customer, even that gets postponed because the CEO is not available, and the leadership team or the next level team, management team, does not have either the authority or the confidence or the capability to make those decisions on their own.
Right? Yeah, so I think further building on Neetu, what you mentioned right in the beginning, I think you set the context beautifully, right? Instead of focusing on the business, you're focusing, in day-to-day management. It's more always about day-to-day management rather than looking at the longer-term big picture.
Correct.
So the owners may have a fancy vision, may have a fancy mission, may have, look, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to go, but the teams below are not necessarily owning up to that. They're not necessarily aligned to that. And because of that mismatch, quite often, the owners get frustrated. Look, this is what I want. There's so much of scope in the market, but my team is not good enough. And then you start blaming the team. You start putting pressure on the team, and that further, affects the culture of the organization.
Absolutely.
So many of these aspects are very people-focused aspects. Like we spoke about last time, this whole HR and people management piece is such a huge contributor to this busyness and low productivity of many organizations. Maybe you should cover it, as a separate set of videos, because there's so much to talk about in those areas itself.
I completely agree, right? I think that's not even a one video content, that's a multiple video content that we should definitely cover. Maybe that could be our next series, right? Where we are focusing on each function. Let's start with the people function itself and how SMEs can optimize that or structure that people function so that they are able to get the best out of their teams, right? Coming back to a current topic, right? The other thing which I've noticed, I think, drawing from all your wordings is the fact that there is no delegation happening, right? Now, there could be various reasons. It can be because you've not hired the right people, so you can't delegate the work. It could be that you've not created a clear structure, about what is expected out of the person. The roles and responsibilities have not been clearly
Even the metrics
defined.
thing that you were talking about, yeah,
The
metrics you were talking
metrics,
about.
yes, the matrices are not captured. So the team does not know where to get the information and what information to get to be able to make a decision, right? And then the third could be that it could be many SME owners have this initially. When you are small, really small, you kind of, as an SME owner, have to wear multiple hats. We understand that. And you want to ensure that you are firmly encouraged in what is happening day to day. You want to have your hands dirty at the grassroots levels. This is great at the initial stages. But if you continue to do that without passing on the baton to somebody else, that is going to again create a lot of backlogs for your other work, because you're so busy trying to set up everyday work. You're trying to firefight things that are not working out. You don't have time to look into the future. So you're basically today focused, right? Today focused, maybe things are going, at the end of the day, you're just happy you've done 10 things. You were able to bring in and complete 10 things, but you're unhappy that you have another 10 things pending in your to-do list, right? So the to-do list is actually defining, driving your work.
And that's what keeps you in office till 9 o'clock, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
because you think there is so much to be done till I finish it, or I don't want to go back, otherwise I feel the day has not been useful. So you tend to drive yourself and drive everybody nuts in the process, right?
Correct.
And one last point maybe I'd like to add is that I've seen that in many organizations, whether it's startups, early stage, growth phase, wherever there is more than one owner, wherever there are multiple co-founders or founders and directors, I find one of the reasons why everybody is busy is because there's no role clarity, right?
Correct.
There's a lot of overlap. People tend to get into each other's functions. There's no clarity in terms of who's doing what, and because of which everybody starts looking at everybody else's thing as well, and the teams below start getting confused. Who am I actually reporting to? Am I reporting to him or both? And I get some instruction from here, I get some instruction from there, and then I can play one against the other. So all these add up, all these things add up. And I think some of these things we can cover in the people management part, because that is the foundation for success.
Got that.
And a more professional, structured way of working with entrepreneurs, whether you're a startup, you're an SME, you're a big mid-sized company, it doesn't matter. These fundamental things are what keeps everyone busy and does not necessarily translate into good business.
Got that. So just to summarize that, right? So we understand that busyness is not good. Being busyness always is not good for your business. So what are the things that you can do for that? One is look at delegation seriously. So before you delegate, you need to have the right team members in place, which is what we will be covering in our next video, about how you can hire the right person, train them, create roles and responsibilities so they know what they're supposed to be doing, create KPI so they know what they're tracking to. That's all the delegation piece. And the second part is about matrices and analysis. So take a step back and start looking at the data about your organization. Are you collecting the right data? Are you collecting the right amount of in-depth data and not superficial data? And then do an analysis on so that you know that what all efforts that you and your team is putting in the business, how is that contributing towards the progress of the organization? And that's where the review comes in, which CK was saying, is a regular structured review calendar, right, CK? At different levels, between the CEOs, between the CXOs is one level, between the CXOs and the management layer is another layer, between the management and the execution layers. Each of these review layers, each of these layers have different review schedules, and that has to be done on a continuous, ongoing basis. It's not a yearly a program only. It's not a quarterly program only. It's as much as a weekly program that you have to put into structure instead. So all of these things will help you identify gaps in your business, which you can start working upon and focusing upon as much as as the part where you're focusing on the day-to-day operations of the business. Is that a good summary, CK? Would you want to add something more in that?
I think my last point was, I was working with a manufacturing client, and he used to keep. He's the MD of the company. Would keep going to the factory every day. Factory was quite far, like 20-30 kilometers away from the office, and he would go 5 times a week, 6 times a week. So I used to jokingly ask him, so are you the MD of the company, or are you the production manager? And I said, if you are the MD of the company, why do you need to go to the factory every day when you have a production head? Right? I said, look, 3 months from now, I would like you to go only twice a week to the factory and let the factory run with your support and not with your supervision. And today, that's exactly what's happening. Today, the factory is doing maybe 2.5 times the volume what they were doing at that time. And the number of times he goes to the factory is possibly 40% of what it was. So I think a lot of it is about how we manage ourselves, and our need for control freaks. Many of the entrepreneurs are control freaks, right? They want to have their finger in everything and know exactly what is happening, make 25 phone calls, and it's not the way to work. So I think what we are really talking about as mentors and coaches is that, when you sort of restructure the way you think and the way you run your business, you don't need to be so busy, yet you can be extremely successful and productive. And I think many of the people part, I think we will cover in subsequent videos. Yeah.
Very well said. Just to add a little bit, there was somebody I was coaching, and the person was saying, hey, I was very proud of the fact that he spends 18 to 20 hours per day at work. So I said, for me, the progression would be for you is when you stop spending those 18 and 20 hours per day at work, and, maybe even reduce it to half, but your business doubles. Okay. And that's only possible when you stop being busy in your business. Right. Great. So let's look forward to our next session, where we'll be focusing on the people strategy and how that can help you to grow your business. Right.
Sure.
Okay. So see you again next week.
Thank you. Thanks. See you soon.
Bye.